How's it going, guys? Paul from Alpha Wrestling Reviews here, and I am joined by
Shawn. How's it going, guys?
And we're using a new camera, and we were just saying off camera, it makes my eyes look like a frigging White Walker from Game of Thrones. And if you don't know what that is, where have you been?
I don't watch it.
Get out.
I don't.
Get out. No, come back.
If you can't tell, guys, we're in the car again.
Yeah, I'm not even going to say sorry. Oh, we're doing this, we're doing that. Just at the moment, it is what it is, guys. We really run down work. Like I said yesterday in the news video, I've been very ill last few days. We're up early again this morning. I generally feel like death warmed up this morning.
Oh, lovely.
I'll give the Undertaker a run for his money. Right, so
did you say death warmed up?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's
like a saying people say.
It's like if the Undertaker met Curry Man, and they decided to have a kid.
Ah, yes, Curry Man, that famous WWE wrestler.
TNA. Never in WWE.
Was it actually a thing?
TNA. Yeah, Curry Man. It was Christopher Daniels. It was his alter ego.
Wow.
Anyway, we're getting off track here. So we are here to review Raw and SmackDown for the past week, which off the top of my head were the 29th and 30th of April. Opening thoughts.
Didn't have that much.
I think Raw was overall better than what Raw's been, but that's not exactly setting a high bar, is it?
The only thing that I was excited for was potentially qualifying matches for Money in the Bank.
Okay, we'll get that out of there now, right? That really annoyed me this week. They were just, last year and the year before, there were qualifying matches for both men and women. It was the same thing on SmackDown as well. There were qualifying matches for both of them. This year, okay, he's in the match. He's in the match. She's in the match. Oh, okay, right.
You just turned to Oprah Winfrey. You get money in the bank. You get money in the bank.
You get money in the bank. Right, anyway, we're going off subject. So I'm just finding my notes for Raw because I have a lot of them. So this year, it's a good start, this, isn't it? This Raw was in the University of Kentucky, which is Ricochet's hometown. Home state. He's from Kentucky. But I can't remember what part of Kentucky. I think he's from Louisville, and I don't know whereabouts the University of Kentucky is. But I don't think I took down where SmackDown was. Hold on.
All I know is Shane made a dig about going to Michigan.
No, it's not there. It was Ohio. No. There's a lot of universities that they're at lately.
It's big. Well, American basketball, university basketball has big arenas, isn't it? So you're forgetting that, like, college level.
I stand corrected.
Sports out there is actually really big.
Doesn't get as big in WWE. Well, it does. It's NFL. Even soccer's got quite big lately with the MLS and things. Yes, I'll say soccer for you American viewers, even though it's football.
Grey? Like, it looks grey than it usually does. Right, go. Sorry.
So Raw started with Alexa Bliss. She come out for a moment of bliss, the first of 2 moments of bliss. She basically just announced. I don't know why this had to be a moment of bliss segment. This couldn't have just been Alexa Bliss coming out and announcing it. Anyway, I digress. So she announced again, like we said before, just announced the Raw men's Money in the Bank competitors. So there were 4 each. There's 4. The same with the women. There are 4 for Raw and 4 for SmackDown. So it's going to be an 8-man/woman Money in the Bank match. So the men were Braun Strowman, original. Ricochet, I really want to see 6:30 off the ladder again, like we did at the NXT Takeover last year.
That'd be sick.
Drew McIntyre, who I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think is going to be the winner.
No, he was.
Purely because I think there's a SmackDown woman taking
when you've announced the SmackDown men, I'll let you in on a little thing that I read the other day.
Okay. Put that to the shelf. Right, so we had Ricochet, McIntyre, and then Baron Corbin. Can he just not be in a bleeding feud? Not be in like a big match like this every single pay-per-view? I don't want to see him. Again, this is not good heel heat. This is get off my screen heat. He bores the living crap out of me. I won't get into my Alicia Fox kind of rant again. Just this guy just
I was
really winds me
really
up.
tempted to go, how do you feel about Alicia Fox?
She wasn't on the show this week.
It was a great show.
I got out the party poppers. So Corbin says he's going to be a 2-time Money in the Bank contract winner. Ricochet then points out how he'd lost the last one, which was freaking hilarious.
It was Jinder Mahal of all people.
McIntyre turns around to Ricochet and basically says, well, yeah, you've got a point. She tells Corbin to shut up. Then Strowman sort of butts himself in and throws out the challenge of him and Ricochet versus McIntyre and Corbin. And that was right now. Ricochet, like I said, was getting some big cheers because this was his hometown. There were huge chants. But this match frustrated me because it's the same dynamic, and we had the same thing again later on and on SmackDown. It's the same dynamic of the smaller babyface getting beaten down over and over again, and he makes a comeback, tags his partner in, they run wild, they win the match.
You dribbled.
I didn't dribble.
You dribbled.
I did not dribble. I didn't dribble. But yeah, so you put me off. You put me off. So Ricochet basically for, I would say,
a majority of it.
2/3 of this match.
They're not going to have Braun Strowman be beat down by Baron Corbin.
But they didn't need it. Ricochet's got such talent. Just show it. But yeah, so we had Ricochet just getting beaten down for 2/3 of the match. He finally got to make sort of a comeback. But then we got to the outside and Strowman sort of went to help Ricochet while McIntyre was beating him down, and Corbin come and attacked him from behind. Strowman no sells. He turns around, looks at Corbin. Corbin thinks, oh dear God, I've made a mistake. We get that stupid Tom and Jerry chase scene round the outside of the ring. But then as Strowman comes back, he gets clattered by
inside out.
Claymore, which I actually thought was quite a good sell considering Strowman's the size he is. But anyway, the end of the match was basically Strowman got a tag, starts beating him down, then gets a tag back to Ricochet, who instantly gets hit with a Glasgow kiss. McIntyre sets up for the Claymore. Corbin gets a blind tag, which pees off McIntyre, who in turn just basically strikes Corbin. He turns straight into a power slam, and Corbin was laying there too far away from where he was supposed to be, I think, hence why Ricochet didn't hit him with the 630, he hit him with a shooting star to get the win. Yeah, again, it was an okay match, but I'm tired of this concept, so...
Just tired of Baron Corbin.
Yeah, I'm just tired of Baron Corbin, so I digress.
You say that too much.
I do say that too much. The Usos out next. They've started...
This was just so... Attitude Era, really.
They were singing their song, like their theme song. They were doing an R-Truth, and I was like, "Oh, please don't do that again."
Down since.
I like the song. I just don't like it when they sing along to it. So they are facing the Club, who are now apparently on Raw.
Yeah, this is
because Superstar Shake-Up apparently still going on.
3 weeks in.
3 weeks in. So I'm just reading what the hell I put about next.
They beat the Club.
I actually thought this was match of the week.
Really?
There wasn't really much to go at.
There wasn't really that many matches.
There wasn't much to go at. Again,
considering it's a wrestling program, they didn't do a lot of wrestling.
On either show, there wasn't many matches. But I again, this might be a bit controversial. I know a lot of you disagree with me. I would have said the Samoa Joe Rey Mysterio match, but I thought it was too short. We'll get to that one in a minute. So I actually think this one was match of the week. Again, it's like you've got so little to choose from. What do you go for? But yeah, the ending of the match was basically they went for a magic killer. That would be the Club. I can't remember which Uso it was. He got into the ring, managed to hit Anderson with a super kick. Then we got one to Gallows. Then a double super kick to Gallows, followed by a suicide dive to Anderson, who rolled to the outside, and a splash to Gallows for the win. Now, to be fair, like I say, this match was okay. I think the Usos are putting themselves on the map to show that they're probably one of the best tag team in the WWE at the moment. I'd say
ever.
Ever?
Probably like top 20.
Oh, easily top 10, I'd say.
Yeah.
Top 10.
And then they showed the video package of the revival.
Oh, this.
Was it Dash shaving Dawson's back?
Dash was shaving Dawson's back. Yeah, this was weird.
This is basically the start of the burial of
the revival.
Dash has had 2 months on his contract from the time he was out with his jaw injury. That's how petty they're being with everything. Because they did it with Luke Harper as well, didn't they?
They don't with Luke Harper. They're looking to do it with Sasha Banks and a few others.
It's just ridiculous.
But yeah, so they come out when the Usos show this video promo. They basically say that's an invasion of privacy. We keep getting shave your back chants. And then they announce that they're going to be having a match versus the tag champs later. I wonder who's going to win. So next up we had Miz TV, and Bobby Lashley was the special guest. Now, like I said in my news review yesterday, Leo Rush.
I hate him.
I don't like him at all. So
he's got a voice that grinds in the back of my head.
The rumour is a little bit more information than what I said in the news review, because Shawn sort of alluded it to me this morning. Not only has he been rubbing people the wrong way backstage by basically, when you're a rookie and when you're a newbie, you do things for the veterans backstage. Like, I think simple things like, you know, you mop the floor, or you set out the dressing room for everyone. You know, initiation process basically. He's refused to do that because he thinks he's lower. That that's lower than him, and he's above that.
And he takes his wife to rehearsals.
He's then bringing his wife and friends along to rehearsals, which is also rubbing people the wrong way.
It was Finn Balor who told him not to because Vince wouldn't be happy with it. Leo Rush reacted in an aggressive type way, and now major backstage heat for Leo Rush, and there is every possibility he won't be used.
Apparently though, it was also Mark Henry a few months ago when he first got heat that asked him not to do it for that exact reason, bringing his wife and friend. He's doing what Enzo did. Yeah. Mark Henry asked him, who's now basically a backstage producer, and he didn't listen. He's done it again, and Finn Balor's obviously got the right on, which by the sound of it, he's making an absolute nuisance of himself backstage anyway. So I couldn't care less. I want him off the screen. I don't like him. Again, it's not heel heat. It's just get off my screen heat. He's a good talent, but I don't like the chip on his shoulder. So, but the ironic part of it is, he's apparently being demoted back to NXT. To be fair, that's probably a promotion, isn't it? From the main roster. Do you another one that's going to NXT?
Tyler Breeze.
Other than him? Killian Dane.
Oh yeah,
Killian Dane. Back to NXT.
Yeah, Killian Dane's going to NXT, and Alexander Wolf went to the UK because he's joined
NXT UK. Imperium.
That's the one. With Volta.
So
we digress.
So Lashley basically starts doing. He takes a page out of the Rock's book and starts talking in third person, which I thought was really weird because it wasn't consistent either. Bobby Lashley thinks this, and Bobby Lashley thinks that, and Bobby Lashley's doing this, and Bobby Lashley's getting annoying, even though I'm a big fan of his. Please stop doing that.
I just don't like him.
They're just trying things, aren't they, to get him over, and I think it's...
Right, this is going to sound really weird, but it makes me really uncomfortable. He doesn't have eyebrows.
Okay.
He does. It's like an alopecia thing, and apologies to anyone with alopecia, but I don't know, like, it just makes me really uncomfortable. He doesn't have a single hair on his face.
I've never noticed that.
Yeah. But when he came back, when he first came back against Elias, he drew him on.
I've got to go back and watch that.
People started to notice.
I've got to go back and watch that. But I am one of the biggest fans of Bobby Lashley. I think he is such a talent, and I think he's been absolutely wasted by WWE booking decisions.
He's a Trump supporter.
We won't go into politics. But I think he's wasted, and I honestly want to see him in a world title feud. I would love to see him have a run with the WWE title, but it won't happen.
There's news on that as well, but we'll get on that later.
I think I know what you're going to say about that one, but yeah. But anyway, so he come out talking in third person. Please don't do that next week. With Miz TV, wasn't really much to talk about, to be honest, guys. Long story short,
I think it was just a segue for Shane to come out.
They had a back and forward. Bobby Lashley then makes some sort of joking comment about Lashley's about Mrs. Dad
looking like a potato.
So You might as well call him Spud. So basically, yeah, they get into a little bit of a brawl. We go into a commercial break. We come back from the commercial break, and they have a match. And it was very short. You was about 3 minutes in, and Shane McMahon's music hit. Hallelujah, they've not just ended this feud where Shane McMahon won, because that would have been an utter piss take.
I reckon Miz will batter him in the steel cage.
Yeah, Miz will win, surely.
Oh, they're having the
He
steel
has
cage
to, because I generally think this is just to close off the feud. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense
to have
with Shane, who's a SmackDown star.
He's not though.
Yeah, but he is. Come on, he's in charge of SmackDown. Stephanie's in charge of Raw. That's how it's been for years.
But then when Vince came back,
yeah, but that's Vince. He's the overlord of bloody WWE. He does what he wants.
Does what he wants. Big Michael Hayes.
So yeah, so Shane comes out and we keep getting a few distractions to the point where it eventually works. Miz turns into a Lashley spear. 1, 2, 3. Lashley is the winner. They beat down Miz afterwards. Shane McMahon with his potato punches and kicks now. Have you seen those awful kicks? Literally, he went to kick him, he's stopping there. Clear as day. They were awful.
Wow.
So, Miz ends up getting a bit of a comeback on Shane, but he turns straight into a one-armed spinebuster from Lashley, and Miz goes flying. He's so high, comes down with an absolute impact, and they beat him down again. You have Miz's dad sort of like appear as a picture on the Titantron. Shane's sort of just taking the piss and sort of trying to get under Miz's skin, and he gets him in a triangle chokehold, and Miz passes out. That's the end of the feud. It's later on announced in a backstage segment when Miz has recovered that he will be facing Miz. Shane will be facing Miz in a steel cage match, which Miz asked for. Shane later accepted on Twitter, because that's where you begin or end feuds, is on Twitter. So yeah, next we had there was a good vertical suplex in that match as well, by the way. A Lashley vertical suplex. Next,
the jackhammer. It's a poor man's jackhammer.
Speaking of jackhammer.
Goldberg return confirmed.
Goldberg return confirmed. I'm a huge. Everyone hated Goldberg when he come back.
Oh,
I love him.
Have you heard what they're gonna do? This is
Undertaker, apparently. Isn't
no.
it? Who is it?
They're gonna put the WWE Championship on him, and then that sets up for SummerSlam. Brock versus Goldberg again.
What?
Yeah, because they want Fox wants Brock to be champion when they move over in October.
Yeah, but he's not down to Fox. I'm sorry, like they're a TV program. They're not.
If Fox is paying to have it done, WWE would do it because they're paying enough money. They've paid like quite a lot to get it over because they're changing it back to Fridays as well.
So how would they go about that then?
I'd say Kofi Open challenge at Saudi Arabia. Out comes Goldberg.
No, surely a heel. He's got to beat a heel because he will be booed out the arena if he beats Kofi for the championship.
Yeah, they know, but because Andrade is currently now penciled in to win Money in the Bank.
Ah, so Andrade cashes in. Andrade, a heel champion, pisses everyone off.
Outcome? No, because I don't know how they're going to do it. They're going to try and make it somehow, but I'd love to see Goldberg Undertaker just purely because of what, like the snippet we saw at the fucking Royal Rumble.
Maybe that can be. Maybe that can be because the Saudi show is June. So if he's winning the belt
June the 7th,
at June, he's got July and most of August. So maybe he wins it at June, and then during July, he defends it against Undertaker at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view.
Little change of scenery, guys. Sorry, our surroundings got a little bit busy. Paul, we
to move. So where were we? We were talking about
how dire this WWE Championship thing is going to be.
Yeah, so basically we was just saying
different show.
How the rumour, take it with a pinch of salt. Possibly Andrade winning Money in the Bank, cashing in on Kofi. Goldberg winning the belt at Saudi. Or do you think he'll face Undertaker? Face Undertaker Saudi and then win it at Extreme Rules?
No, see, they've replaced Backlash with a new one called Stomping Grounds. I reckon it might be that.
Yeah, could be. But again, that means he only holds it for a month again, and he don't defend it. I don't like that. I want to see him defend it at least once if he's going to win the belt. So maybe he takes.
I don't understand why they have to bring him back. He retired. Just leave him.
Oh no, bring him back. I'm all for bringing him back. Just not put the belt on him.
Also, and it's kind of Saudi Prince gets what Saudi wants, what Saudi Prince gets. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Considering
he wanted Yokozuna, didn't he?
Yeah, he wanted Yokozuna. He paid $10 million for Shawn Michaels.
Unreal. So next up we have the Viking Raiders facing the Lucha House Party of Gran Metalik and Kalisto. Lince Andrade was on ringside. Now, thank God they didn't change their name again. It's still the Viking Raiders. Looks like that's what it's going to stay as. This was just an absolute decimation. They completely and utterly brutalised them. As the Viking Raiders were coming out, they tried to attack them. Lucha House Party tried to attack them before the bell sort of rang.
Yeah, it didn't work. They fought them off.
Yeah, that didn't work whatsoever. And the ending of the match was basically they hit the Viking Experience, which is their double team pop-up power slam.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, Kalisto flew.
Kalisto oversells.
Oh, I don't know, that was pretty good because he's so small. It shows the strength of them.
They little cutaway again. They relinquished the
NXT Tag Team Championships. Yeah, I saw that.
There's also a takeover on June 1st.
I called that. I thought that was what was going to happen. I think that was not last week before, wasn't it? Or was it the last show we said? And we thought that they'd relinquished the championships. You've got to keep them strong because I think they're going to win the tag titles at Money in the Bank.
I read because they only announced a takeover, NXT takeover last night. I read they might be doing it at London again.
Well, we will be there.
On the 1st of June, I'll so be there.
We will
it's
be
the
there.
week before. It's the week, a couple of weeks after. Because they're in the UK in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
13th and 14th.
Yeah, usually London and Manchester, isn't it?
Yeah. Which, it's London this time.
Oh yeah, it's London this time. The Manchester's in the November because that's when AJ beat Jinder, then also beat.
That means this year they're going to Glasgow because they change it every year.
Oh, did they? Oh, okay, fair enough.
So we might be going to that, and yeah, the takeover might be in London because takeover London when it was Finn versus Samoa Joe for the old NXT Championship was a banging match because I was there.
Oh, I already want to go and watch it now. Anyway, we're getting off subject. So yeah, the Viking Raiders won with the Viking Experience. To Kalisto got the win, and then they sort of beat down Lince Andrade after the match. And we had...
Are they heel? I don't understand.
Oh, I think they're heel. Yet. We had Hanson, or... I'm sorry, Eric, holding up... no, sorry. Hanson's Ivar. Yeah. We then had Eric, who was formerly Rowe, hold him up in a German suplex, and then you had Ivar do a springboard clothesline, and this guy come down on his neck. It looked painful. So yeah, Lindsay got absolutely flattened, and that was the end of that segment. Basically, this was where we had our second moment of bliss segment. Again, the women are just randomly announced, which really frustrated me.
Why Dana Brooke?
They're really, really trying to push this woman, and I'm sorry, she can't cut a promo.
It's not going to work.
She can't.
They tried before with Titus Worldwide, but it's just not. When she was the data analyst.
It's not going to work at all. So it was announced that Natalya, Dana Brooke, and Naomi are the three going in for Raw. The crowd just didn't give a monkeys for all of this segment via the bit that I'll get to in a second. They were near enough non-existent. So Alexa Bliss then stands up and says she is the fourth competitor and she's the most important. And I think the crowd agreed because that got a pop, and that was the only pop this entire segment got.
And then I don't like the bit that happened after.
Oh well, also I'm not even going to mention the little back and forth that Dana Brooke and Natalya got into because it was so bad, it was cringeworthy.
Well, you just did mention it.
Well, I'm not saying detail. what it was. And then Naomi challenges. This is just what you was going to say. Like, Naomi challenges Bliss to a match. Apparently, it's going to be a preview of Money in the Bank, even though it's not a frigging ladder match. So, Alexa Bliss was still in a show attire. She was in like a leather suit.
She was in her civvies. Her plimsolls weren't hers. She had to borrow them.
Yeah, she had to borrow her plimsolls, which...
It's like when you're a kid in school and you forget your PE kit and you've got to go through the lost property box. I imagine the arena just had a lost property box. They tried to... It was like 2 odd shoes.
Oh no. Oh, she's the kid from school that wants to get sexed up.
Just ends up wearing like an oversized t-shirt.
Oh, it's not like Neil from In Between as he comes out and just some boxes he's found from the
This
lost
is all
property.
I found in lost property.
We're not going to get into the match. The match was pretty poor. The crowd were dead. Alexa Bliss
took the pin.
She made the match what it was. There were a few spots that she got in that the crowd started to pick up for, and then when Naomi got some comeback, it weren't even like a booing, it was just indifference, which is the last thing you want as a superstar. But the thing that kept bothering me was the fact Alexa Bliss's shoelaces were untied. It sent my OCD into meltdown. I didn't like it whatsoever.
Shoelaces,
yeah. No, they're not. But Naomi eventually pulled Alexa's shoes off and then hit that horrible signature move that I can't stand. She's basically just hitting them with her bum. She hit it with a rear view and then hit the split leg moonsault for the win. I hated this.
She's got a big bum, though.
Exactly. But big bum means more cushion. Surely it wouldn't hurt as much.
Touche.
Yeah.
Or touche.
Touche.
For God's sake. Oh no.
Oh no. So yeah, we then have Mysterio in a backstage segment with Dominic. Dominic's back. I think
Dominic's gonna kick the shit out of his dad.
I think the feud or the story that they were going with at WrestleMania that had to be put on hold because of Mysterio's injury is being pushed to now.
What, the whole Dominic getting involved?
I think Dominic will be a competitor very, very soon.
He's 16.
He's older than that now. He's a lot older than that now. He's like 21.
Is he?
Yeah. I still stand by what I said before. I think they're just going to push it forward a little bit. We're still going to have Rey Mysterio versus Dominic at SummerSlam. What are you checking my notes out for?
Charlie Caboose.
Oh yeah, Charlie Caboose. Because every time every time she gets on that microphone, people are just like, oh, shut up. Yeah, give me my notes back. So,
just Charlie, as if you wrote that.
Charlie Caboose.
You took the time out of your day to write Buso.
So, Becky Lynch was out next. Now, we've been moaning about her last...
I didn't watch this bit.
Oh, you should have done that, actually, to be fair. Now, we've moaned about her in the last couple of segments, saying how it's the same thing over and over again. This was slightly better this week. This was actually watchable. We still had the stuff where she went on about Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair and all this and that, but Charlie Caboose was out there again, just interviewing for no reason whatsoever. She didn't need to be there. It could have just been a promo. She then asked Lacey Evans to come out after implying that she, again, is doing sexual favours for men because PG. So Evans comes out. She basically says this is the last thing that she's going to take from her. She realises that Lynch has got that Irish anger that's always talked about.
Yeah,
and says she's done talking. They get into a really good pull-apart brawl, to be fair. And no one stood tall. They sort of just got split up. I thought this is better built than the Charlotte Flair match. That's why I still think
Charlotte was just put into them.
That's why I think Charlotte Flair is going to be the first out. She's going to lose, and then Lacey Evans is going to capitalise on Lynch. But rumour is that they are not happy with Becky Lynch's push at the moment. They're not happy with the way it's going. They don't like sort of how it's unravelling, and they're looking to make big changes at Money in the Bank. So it's almost guaranteed we're going to get at least one new champion. She won't come away with both belts. Lacey will win, yeah. Yeah, and that was basically it. It was a really good pull-apart brawl, to be fair. I would actually, for once, watch this Becky Lynch segment.
I feel like the whole Becky Lynch thing is everyone was like she was like a new puppy going up to WrestleMania, and then like everyone was like really excited by it, and we all loved her, and then it happened, and then they were just like, I'm bored of you now. I'm gonna go find something new to play with.
But again, it's because they just pushed her into this. Near enough every women's segment other than the tag team. Even 2 weeks ago, we had her in the bleeding tag team picture as well. She's in every flipping women's segment. Segregate her a little bit, you know. Delegate her certain bits. Don't delegate her in certain bits. Leave her blank for stuff she don't have to be there for.
Segregation and delegation. Look at you using big words.
With accommodation.
Someone played Scrabble.
Big words, big words. Next we have the match that was announced earlier on. Ryder and Hawkins versus the Revival.
Riker's on the next team, mate.
Take a guess who won.
Ooh, would it be the Major Bros?
Yes.
Ooh.
Match wasn't too bad, but again, this is
hard to believe he went on a 264 match losing streak. Because
Hawkins actually wasn't in this match much. It was majority of it was Ryder. But again, this is what I was saying earlier about the Ricochet and Strowman segment. This was the other match where the face just got beat down and down and down, and this time it was Zack Ryder in that position, and the ending was really weird. So basically, Ryder tries to go for the hot tag. Dawson gets to Hawkins before he can make the tag. Ryder then gets up, and sorry, I'm just having some members of public pass. So Ryder basically then gets up. He clashes his head with the back of Dawson's head. He falls to the floor. Dawson bounces off the ropes, and as he falls sort of backwards onto Ryder, Ryder manages to roll him up in a crucifix and get the pin. So the Revival have lost again, and like you said, they are getting buried. It's awful. Okay, so next up was the Miz segment we said earlier, where he basically challenges Shane McMahon to a steel cage match. It was a backstage segment. It wasn't Charlie Caruso, I don't think, that was here. Someone was talking.
It was the new one,
the blonde one.
Yeah.
Actually, I like her. She seems quite fluent when she speaks.
She's really pretty as well.
It's quite pretty, to be fair. She's the one I think she is. I had to Google who this woman was to find out who she was when she first appeared on SmackDown a couple of months ago. You know, she's like mid-30s.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But yeah, so like I said, Shane McMahon accepted the match on Twitter, so we're going to have a steel cage match, Money in the Bank. This pay-per-view is actually looking pretty good this year. Steel cage match, 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches. AJ Rawlins, WWE title match, Owens and Kofi, which I think is going to be quite good.
That might be much.
I wonder if he's going to... No, it'll be Rollins, AJ, surely. I wonder if if Owens is still going to use the stunner. We shall see.
We've got the women's matches and Roman Elias. That's just going to be a squash. It's so obvious already.
No, I don't think it will be. I think you're going to have Vince McMahon come out here. He won't have Shane because he's going to be in his own match.
He's busy.
But you're going to have the B team come out being a pain in the arse, and you're going to have Vince come out being a pain in the arse.
B team, go, go, go.
And I still think that Roman is going to overcome him. But this is 2 Money in the Bank pay-per-views in a row now where he's just had a random nothing opponent. Last year he had Jinder Mahal.
He's not a random nothing opponent, is he?
What, Elias is better than Jinder Mahal?
Elias is Vince's new favourite play toy.
I would like to see him get a push. I want to see him possibly with the IC title.
Who, Elias?
Yeah, if you're going to push him, have him with the IC title. Because for me, Finn Balor's doing nothing with it at the moment. I know it's still sort of... I know Balor at the moment...
It's been there a week. 2 weeks. 2 weeks? A week? When did the shake-up happen?
I'll put that thought on the shelf for now. Next up, we had Sami Zayn segment again.
Genuinely, he's doing...
Again, this is get off my screen hate. This isn't even good heel hate. Yeah, he's running up the crowd, he's getting boos from him, but for me, I actually went and put the kettle on.
I just hope he annoys Vince so he starts getting buried.
Just didn't do it for me. Didn't do it for me at all. Hell, give him, if you want to have him this obnoxious heel champion, give him the US title. See what he does with it. Have Samoa Joe go into a world title feud for, I don't know, whoever wins it in the coming months. We're not going to speculate who at the moment.
We've seen AJ and...
Maybe a triple threat. SummerSlam or next month or just something, and give the mid card to Sammy. If you're gonna make this obnoxious character, give him fuel to go forward with it. At the moment, he's just coming out to absolute nothing, and his reasons and his arguments are nothing.
Dog shit.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have said that. I'll blip that.
But yeah, so that was it. Basically, we're not even going to go into it. If you want to see it, go and watch it on WWE's YouTube channel. But this was the same thing we keep
Just
getting
plug
every
someone else's YouTube channel on our channel. Bruh.
Bra.
Bruh.
Bra. Really? Bra.
Bruh. Bruh.
I'm going to buy you a dictionary for Christmas. Anyway, next we had Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio. Joe cuts a promo about Dominic, basically saying Dominic is ashamed of Rey. I actually thought this was quite a nice little segment.
I like it. I love how they get Samoa Joe to do the family stuff.
I think he's good at it. He really is. And he says tonight will be a reckoning, basically. Straight into a strong bit of action. There was no slow chain grappling. They got straight into the meat of the fight. 619 to the gut. There was a countered 619 into the clutch. Rey counters a Uranagi into a roll up for the win. It was actually a really good counter. But like I said earlier, match of the week was scarce to come by this week. I thought this could have been it if it went another 5 minutes, but I think the reason that it's not is because they're going to be facing each other at the pay-per-view. And I think Dominic is going to accidentally cost Rey. No, I think it's not been announced yet, but I think that's the direction they're going. I think Dominic's going to be at ringside like he was supposed to be at WrestleMania. And I think Dominic's going to accidentally cost Rey. I think he might get in the way and cost Rey. Setting up seeded heel turn. Because I said in WrestleMania, if Dominic was there, Rey would accidentally knock Dominic off of the apron while Dominic was up there arguing with the ref. Rey would be distracted by the fact he's knocked his son off and then get caught in a clutch. The fact that Rey hit Dominic sows the seed for Dominic to turn heel against his dad. And I still think that's going to be the case here. I think it's just they've just had to pull it back a month.
Well, Dominic must be contracted to TV because you have to have a contract to appear on TV.
Must be then. But yeah, so he got the win with a roll-up. He then went up the ramp. Samoa Joe, again though, my only gripe with this is the United States champion has again lost on Raw. Has he won a match since being on Raw? In fact, has he won a match since WrestleMania? He hasn't, has he?
I don't believe so.
No, that's what I mean. And then Dominic sort of comes up behind Rey from the gorilla position and he hugs him from behind and then he picks him up in an electric chair on his shoulders and starts celebrating. I'm thinking, this is your son. It looks like a dad picking up his kid, but it was the reverse roles.
But
so I said this tickled me a little bit.
41-year-old man is on the shoulders of a 22-year-old man.
21, 22, I think he is. But yeah. Next we had, now this was a good segment to close, we had AJ Styles and Seth Rollins in their contract signing. But Michael Cole was the one in the middle and he just got in the way for me.
He just needs to die.
Jesus, Shawn.
Storyline.
Oh. Like the Vince McMahon limo explosion.
Yeah.
The crowd were behind both massively. There were AJ chants, let's go Rollins. Styles wants a Universal title. He's going to find any way to do it, which for me, I think with the fact that the club have come over to Raw, I can see Rollins losing the belt to AJ because of AJ heel turn, with aligning with the club.
But then what did he gain from that? Because they made
heel champion.
Yeah, but they made it so big. Well, I suppose because AJ's going to Saudi. So Seth, they've already been announced.
And that's where they have their one-on-one rematch there. So I'll be interested to see where that goes. But that's what I think is going to happen. But Rollins says he's faster, younger. Oh, sorry, AJ says Rollins is faster and younger. Yes, but he's not phenomenal. Rollins says he doesn't want to be the first. He doesn't want to be the next AJ Styles. He wants to be the first Seth Rollins. This isn't SmackDown. It's Monday Night Rollins. AJ says he doesn't think that Rollins has much left after facing Brock at Mania. He thinks he's still beaten down. Rollins says he's going to give AJ everything. They have a bit of a back and forward. They sign the contract. AJ gives Rollins the Universal title, goes to shake his hand, but Rollins just holds the belt up in front of him, sort of antagonising Styles, and they get into a brawl. But I thought Styles was a little bit heelish here.
I also liked Rollins' little dig that I beat Brock Lesnar. You didn't.
yeah, because you had AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series 2017, and AJ lost, and then obviously Rollins beat him at WrestleMania just gone. So basically, there was a bit of a brawl. Rollins hit a suicide dive to Styles. He then sort of goes to go for him again. Styles hits him and then hits a phenomenal forearm, but he hits it through the contract table. So AJ stands tall to end. Huh?
Poor table. Has there ever been a contract signing that hasn't ended in a fight?
Not that I can remember. I'm pretty sure there has, but not off the top of my head. I can remember.
Wait, are you saying this is something you don't know?
Shh, they don't need to know that. But yeah, this was a nice little segment. AJ stood tall, and that was the end of Raw. Like I said, match of the night.
Yeah,
because there wasn't much to go for. It's Usos Club. What would you give it rating wise?
2. The only thing that saved it probably very high 2.
I'll give it a high 2.
Because
just under 3.
I really enjoyed the Seth Rollins segment, but that's because I really like Seth Rollins.
See, but I gave last week a low 3, and I thought this week was better than last. So I'm going to give it 3, but again, it's a low 3. But this was better than last week, I thought. Still not great though. For any standard of Raw, it's not great at all. It doesn't need to be 3 hours, I'm sorry. You need to cut it down. This third hour just kills the show. I struggle to watch these programs. I just have to watch elongated highlights of them sometimes. Yeah. I can't sit there for 3 hours, it's just too much. Especially when we're working as well.
I watched it at Endgame, and Endgame was 3 hours long. And there was loads of action in that.
Yeah, but that's interesting. It's not just filler.
But don't do filler then.
No movie spoilers, by the way. So, yeah, that was Raw. We are now moving over to SmackDown, if I can find my notes.
The house that AJ Styles built.
They were in the Ohio State University, which is Cleveland, Ohio, I believe.
Hometown of The Miz.
Michael Cole is there again, starting the show off. He introduces Kofi Kingston. I hate Michael Cole.
Why? What's wrong with Tom Phillips?
Yeah, that's the other thing. I thought Michael Cole wasn't on SmackDown.
Corey Graves. He's there.
Yeah, I didn't think Michael Cole was part of SmackDown, but he was here. So there was a video of the Elimination Chamber where Kofi come up short. Then the Gauntlet match where he won all those matches and then lost to Daniel Bryan. They show Kofi winning the title at Mania. Cole
so basically he makes Kofi look a little bit like down, ready for KO to come out and start making fun of it. Wow.
Cole and the crowd say you deserve it. Cole says Kofi's now got a huge target on his back. Owens was the first to take a shot. There's a flashback to last week's assault where Xavier Woods gets hit with a powerbomb on the ring apron. I'm so glad they brought that back. And they've actually started selling it as a big knockout move. Because before, you'd hit him with it in the match and then nothing would come of it. It'd just be another move in the match. Whereas
it's really hurt.
It must do. You can't really protect yourself with that. But when they first started doing it, this was putting people out for ages. Like, that move beat Chris Jericho at WrestleMania. Powerbomb on the apron.
And it was so powerful it made Chris Jericho sign with AEW. Whoa.
Goes backstage. Are we good? No. Yeah, Kevin Owens apparently really annoyed Vince McMahon at WrestleMania after 33. So that's apparently what he said. He went backstage. He went, "Are we good?" Vince just turned around and went, "No, we are not." Anyway, coming off subject. So Owens comes out. He basically gloats about how he attacked them. They just get into a bit of a back and forth, really. Then Xavier Woods comes out, tries to attack Owens from behind, but his injuries get the better of him, and KO ends up hitting him with a super kick and goes backstage before Kofi has made it up the ramp.
Right, what are Xavier Woods' moves? Because I know, like, Trouble in Paradise, Boom Drop.
Xavier Woods don't have Trouble in Paradise.
No. I know, like, the New Day's moves.
All right,
like
well,
the big ending. What does he? What? I don't know.
He used to use the Lost in the Woods, which was like the defeat, but he stopped using it.
Yeah.
But now he's got that sort of old school top rope elbow drop, which he calls the limit breaker elbow. That's sort of his finisher, and then a Shining Wizard as well, which he uses quite often. He's also got that Honor Roll, which he uses like a signature. He used that quite often in TNA when he was Consequences Creed. Yeah, useless trivia. He also used to use, if I remember correctly, he also used to use a Hammerlock DDT in TNA. I don't think he's used it since he's been part of WWE. So yeah, basically, Kofi challenges Owens to a match which Owens accepts, so they will be facing each other at Money in the Bank for the WWE Championship. This is still 3 weeks away. Now, I'm not saying he will get involved physically, but maybe Big E comes out to help. Because he won't be able to compete by that point, but he'll be able to walk possibly by that point. So I think Big E might come out to help.
Crutches. They said he was going to have some sort of TV role.
So I reckon he's going to come out to help Kofi retain. Excuse me, early in the morning. So next we have Bayley out with the wacky waving inflatable arm flaying tube men. Yes, got it. I actually wrote that down. I wrote it down to make sure that I got it right. So yeah, after the break, sorry, Bayley.
Did you Google it?
No.
You just listened to Byron Saxton say it.
He didn't say it on SmackDown. I just remembered what it was. Also, I watched Family Guy and they got it on Family Guy. So, yeah, sorry, Bayley come out basically, and then while she was in the ring, it cut to a commercial break. When they come back from the commercial break, there was a backstage segment of Kofi talking to Woods in the trainer's room, saying, you know, Woods was silly for doing what he did. You know, his back's messed up from the Apron Powerbomb last week. He's got a family to look after. Let Kofi do this. He's got this. And that was the end of the segment.
Woods doesn't have any kids.
That's what I thought when I heard it. He's got a family, he said. He said, you've got a family to look after. And I thought, Woods doesn't have any kids.
His YouTube channel.
So, yeah, but basically, we then get Becky Lynch versus Bayley. And it is announced the Money in the Bank competitors via one, because one's announced later on. 3 of the Money in the Bank competitors are Ember Moon, Carmella, and obviously Bayley. Now, apparently the rumour...
Who's the other one?
I will say it now. Basically, it was... They were told that it was either Rose or Deville. They had to choose between the two of them who got the final spot. So Deville suspiciously turned around and goes, no, it's okay. You take it. It's fine. You take it.
And then...
I think Deville's going to cost Rose. I think she's going to turn on her. I think she's going to be there. She's going to push her off the ladder.
The whole Paige absolution thing on Twitter is hilarious. Because Mandy Rose was like, oh, Sonya Deville was like the Beyonce to my Jay-Z. And Paige replied saying, didn't Jay-Z cheat on Beyonce?
Damn. But the rumour was Liv Morgan was supposed to be getting a big push when she went to SmackDown. She was going to be the dark horse in this. I actually think she was going to win this. But Mandy Rose has got that position now, because I think Rose and Deville were originally going to have some sort of interaction with a tag team match, the women's tag team match.
I think Liv Morgan will beat Becky for the SmackDown
eventually, but she was supposed to be in this match, the Money in the Bank match. However, she has broken her toe. Liv Morgan.
Is she?
Yeah, that's why she's not in this match. And that's why I think they've put Rose in it. Because, like I say, I think Rose and Deville were originally, considering they were always in the tag team pictures, I think they were supposed to be in the tag team. Maybe not in the match, but they were going to cause the DQ or something like that. Because I don't see the Iconics dropping them. Because if you work that out, there's a lot of title changes in my mind that are going on at Money in the Bank. I don't think it's going to happen yet.
3.
Raw tag. I possibly think Universal. And
SmackDown's vacant. So
SmackDown, yeah, we'll get to that one in a second. I don't think they'll sort that out. I reckon that'll be another episode of SmackDown that we'll have no champs. I don't think they'll put that on the pay-per-view unless it's the pre-show. But anyway, yeah, so Liv Morgan was apparently supposed to be in this match, but she's broken her toe in training. She put it on her Twitter account. She's not going to be out for long, but she's going to be out for a little while.
So 2-3 weeks.
So this match, now, this I would probably say was match of SmackDown. Again, not much to slim pickings really, what else to go from, but this was match of SmackDown.
Pim Slickins.
So Lynch apparently tweaked her left knee during the commercial break, which we never saw. There was a good Black Exploder sell by Bayley. There was a double clothesline spot. The end was Bayley going for the Macho Man elbow drop. Lynch got her knees up. Bayley came down, right arm first, on Lynch's knees, injuring her arm, and she got pulled into the disarmer and tapped out. Before Lynch could even get to her feet, she gets hit with a big boot from Charlotte. And then we get Bayley thrown into the ring post and to the outside. Charlotte stands tall.
So over.
I'm over Charlotte now.
I'm convinced.
It's Roman Reigns. It's Roman Reigns heat, isn't it? Like prior Roman Reigns heat. So yeah, that's all it was. Then we got Aleister Black's backstage promo.
Oh, I'm so excited for this.
I'm looking forward to this.
Same with the Fireflies Funhouse.
I never mentioned that on Raw. Apologies. There was Bray Wyatt, because it was the same promo, wasn't it?
No, he did painting and he showed the
The burning house.
the burning.
But he did that on Raw as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was the same promo.
Yeah.
And
So
he apologised. I reckon Randy Orton's going to be his first feud because he apologised. And he's like, on Twitter, he was like, "Oh, we both did some bad things to each other, but I'm sorry, Randy, oh boy."
Joe, I love seeing their Money in the Bank match with Randy Orton. RKO and Strowman off the ladder.
There's going to be some sort of couple of big
I
spots.
think that'd be good. But yeah, so I'll get into what happened in the Bray Wyatt segment in a second. But basically, it was the same promo segment on Raw as well. I just forgot to mention it. Sorry about that. So yeah, but this was the Black segment. This was actually really, really good. I'm not going to get into what he said. He basically is a dark Aleister Black.
He's the new Undertaker.
I think he will be, but they're really, really pushing him. But they don't want him to come out like Undertaker. They want him to be his own sort of character. But he's going to get the same kind of push as Undertaker. So I can see him possibly being champion in the next 12 months.
What, WWE champion?
WWE champion.
That'd be sick.
So here we go out. We have the Hardys out next with generic interviewer number 3. She asked what happened to Jeff. Apparently
Kelly.
Was it Kathy Kelly?
Yeah.
Apparently they're blaming. No, it wasn't Kathy Kelly.
Was that?
Kathy Kelly doesn't sort of do on.
Oh no, she does like YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, generic interview number 3.
Generic interviewer number 3. She basically says what happened to Jeff, and they're apparently blaming the injury on Lars Sullivan. It's attack 2 weeks ago, even though it wasn't. He was injured at a live event. They're saying basically they have to vacate the belts. Jeff actually said, and his exact words were, "I'm going to be out for a very long time." That was the exact words. So and the rumour is that Jeff might actually be out for the rest of the year, if not December, earliest back Christmas time. He's really messed up his hip and knee. So he's going to be out for a while. And did you hear that they're looking to tag Matt Hardy with Apollo Crews?
Why?
I don't know. But apparently, that's the rumour. It's going to be Matt Hardy and Apollo Crews going forward for a couple of months.
Okay, but why?
Yeah, that's exactly. I remember sitting there reading it. I was like, what?
Okay, but I can't emphasize this enough. Why?
I don't know. They ain't got something to do.
What? Why? Not why?
I don't know.
That's really annoyed me. I don't even know why.
Why?
Who?
We digress. Yes, I said it again. I'm going to get that printed on a bleeding t-shirt. That and Superb.
New merch.
New merch coming out soon.
No,
So, yeah, they have to vacate the belts, but they say that this is not the end of their journey. They will be back. But before Jeff can finish that sentence, Lars Sullivan's music hits.
It's like a weird version of the Psycho music, isn't it?
It is. I think that's where they've got the basis from. I think it is Psycho. Again, he's still a Braun Strowman 2.0, to be honest. He comes to the ring. Jeff Hardy's sort of standing back. He's on crutches, by the way, we forgot to mention. Matt stands in the way. He gets hit with a freak accident. Oh no, sorry, he stands in the way. He sort of beats him down and gets thrown out the ring. He then goes for Jeff. Matt makes a comeback though, then gets hit with a freak accident. And then as he goes for Jeff again, we then have R-Truth come from behind with a steel chair, which I nearly said Strowman, that's what I mean. Which Lars Sullivan no-sells at all. He then goes to swing for him again, and Sullivan punches it out of mid-swing.
That was,
to be fair, that was pretty good. I can't knock that. He basically can't knock that.
God's sake. Oh.
So R-Truth fights back, but he gets caught, right? Instead of just a normal pick-up into the freak accident, he literally hits him with a pop-up version of the freak accident. He throws him up and catches him as he comes down and slams him into a freak accident. Ooh. It looked really cool. And then he hits his new finisher, which is that gut wrench running power bomb, sit down power bomb. Again, R-Truth sells it like he's hitting a trampoline. Great. This is going to be a pre-show match at the pay-per-view. No, I think it's going to be an absolute squash.
Is it? Has it been announced?
No, but apparently that is the rumour.
You can't have his debut match on the pre-show.
It's WWE. Watch him. I just hope he ain't champion. I don't want to see Lars Sullivan as WWE champion.
He will never be WWE champion.
Oh, he will.
No, he won't.
I bet you anything he will.
Not when it comes out that he failed his drug test.
Oh, well,
speculation.
Yeah. Speculation. So next, I've just lost my place in my notes. Next, it is announced that Ali, Bala, Andrade, and Randy Orton are announced as the, and again just announced, as the SmackDown members of the Money in the Bank. It's then announced that Bala and Ali will face Orton and Andrade later tonight.
This match is actually going to be amazing. You've got Ali, Ricochet, Andrade, Bala. They're the high flyers. You've got the hard hitters in Randy Orton, McIntyre, Corbin, I suppose, and you've got the big guys of Baron Corbin.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty good.
Not Baron Corbin.
That's that.
Drew and
that
Strowman.
and the Universal Title match are the two that I'm looking forward to the most. But that purely for the fact that it's not just a match; it's a gimmick match we only get sort of once a year. I think I'm looking forward to that one the most. Money in the Bank has always been, since the CM Punk Cena match in 2011. Money in the Bank's always been one of my favourite pay-per-views, and I'm so glad that they now acknowledge it as like a top. It's not even a top 4 anymore; it's a top 5 now. And I think Money in the Bank's overtaken Survivor Series as
just like the fact that you get to see him hit people with ladders.
Well, I generally think Money in the Bank
sadistic.
Has overtaken Survivor Series as
really
one of the top 4. Survivor Series is nothing now.
It's because they just do it like champion versus champion, isn't it?
Oh, it's naff. It's absolutely naff. And I hope to God, I want to see an NXT invasion this Survivor Series, and you have NXT versus the main roster. That's what I want to see. You start off.
No, do like 8-man or not.
No, you start off right.
15-man elimination.
Oh, stuff that'd be too long.
No, that'd be sick.
No, because then when you get that, you get people getting pinned by a clothesline. I hate that in elimination. There's so many people they start pinning people off of like just sheer random moves. I remember once, I can't remember who it was, someone got pinned off of a scoop slam because it was an elimination match. Three
people in each team.
I think the Survivor Series, we're going off subject here, but I'm going to say this, right? I think you start booking it as Raw versus SmackDown again, which is good. It's the fans off. And then all of a sudden, just as they're standing and they're facing each other on an episode, you get the NXT roster come out. They beat down everyone, and you have to see both Raw and SmackDown get along. And what this story can be is it's Triple H trying to overtake Vince McMahon because he's had enough of Vince McMahon. He's had enough of the low ratings and things like that, and he's trying to take top spot. And the stipulation is like back all the way Alliance versus WWE at 2001 Survivor Series. Winner take all. Winner takes the CEO position.
Definitely, just got trouble.
I want to see that. And obviously, NXT win the main match. You have a few, like, for argument's sake, you want the main roster women to beat the NXT women because I think the main roster women are better.
No.
But I would have...
Absolutely not.
I would have... You don't want to squash, though. So I would have the NXT main men beat the main roster men.
Who'd you have in it?
Keith Lee, Matt Riddle,
Adam Cole.
Who will be the captain?
Ciampa or Gargano?
Ciampa won't be there. Ciampa's out for 2 years, mate.
No, he's not.
He'll be out. They said 18 months to 2 years.
Nah.
When Edge done his neck in, he was out for about 16, 17 months.
Nah. He'll be back for Royal Rumble.
Don't see it, mate.
Yeah.
He broke his neck. He will not be back.
He will.
He will not be back.
Didn't break his neck.
He did.
He didn't. He lacerated his spinal cord. It's probably even worse.
Yeah. So, we went off subject there, but yeah. Fantasy booking! Next. Again. Shut up, what's the dribble? Next, I'm pretty dehydrated actually, I need a drink. Next, we have Roman Reigns out. There was a video of the Superman punch to my phone has decided to autocorrect punch, and it's put Superman munch.
Superman munch.
Superman munch to Vince McMahon.
I saw that in a video once.
We then had huge Roman chants from the crowd. They were, the entire match, they were behind
Roman's
him.
finally over.
He's really, really over.
I'd punch Vince to get over, to be honest.
He basically says, first night on SmackDown, sorry, he knocked out Vince. He wanted to get his point across that he is still the big dog and this is his yard now. Here comes the money, 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 money. Shane McMahon's music comes out. He says the Man family own all the land. Roman says, no, your daddy owns the land, not you. Basically asked if Shane can come down and do things on his own, but Shane has no time. So Roman ends up having to face
beat him, go, go, go.
Who are now apparently heels again. And we have a handicap match of Roman Reigns versus the B team, but with Elias as the special referee enforcer person on the side.
Two different people.
I don't know. But he's wearing this really weird tank top, but it's like a referee striped tank top. It looked pretty funny, to be honest. This match actually was pretty good. It wasn't this, but there was some beatdown segments, yeah, but it's 2v1, that's fair enough. But this was more even, this was more Reigns asserting his dominance. I'm not really going to go into much of what the match was, but I will name a few spots. There was one point he had Axel up on his shoulders in a Samoan drop position, and as he come down, he's grabbed Dallas, he's hit a Samoan drop and DDT Dallas at the same time, which they both sold so well. I thought, that's unique. But anyway, we had, just trying to find where we are next. Elias distracted the referee a few times, allowing the B team to sort of get the one up on Reigns.
I thought Elias was the ref.
No, he was the enforcer outside the ref. You had Mike Chioda was the main referee.
Mike Chioda.
Mike Chioda. So we had Superman punch to Dallas on the apron, and then one to Axel in the ring. He goes for the cover, but Elias pulls the referee out. Reigns chases Elias, hits a drive-by kick on Dallas while he's running through, but then gets thrown into the LED post by Elias outside, and then back in the ring where Axel hits a perfect plex, and Elias obviously now, because the ref's out, Elias gets in, goes to count the pin. This was a near fall. This nearly had me. I thought he actually had him there, but he doesn't. He kicked out. And then we had, where are we now? Elias goes to get a guitar, but Roman Reigns hits a Superman punch on him and then hits a spear to Axel for the pin, because Mike Chioda miraculously at this point recovers. And
do you know what I can see as a big spot coming up? Elias will go to hit Roman with the guitar, and Roman will punch through the guitar.
I'd love to see that. That'd be so good. But yeah, that was basically the end of that segment. We then got the Firefly Fun. What is it with me not saying it?
Firefly Funhouse.
Firefly Funhouse match, and we had Bray Wyatt painting his house on fire, which, like you say, I think it's also alluding back to when Randy Orton set what's his name's house on fire.
Bray Wyatt, Sister Abigail's barn.
So I think you're right. I think the feud's going to be Randy Orton, but this we can't even explain what happened here. Basically, what you need to do is you need to go and watch it on YouTube. It's creepy as hell. We wouldn't do it justice talking about it. Then we had Ali in the ring. He is joined by Balor, and then they're facing Orton and Andrade. Zelina and Andrade make a promo basically saying they will teach Orton respect, which was weird because he was the teammate. Never understood that. There was a good senton/suicide dive duo from the faces to the heels. Zelina grabbed Balor's foot as he goes for the coup de grace. There was a near fall from a running knee on Balor from Andrade, but the end was Orton was, after that suicide dive, Orton was literally just on the outside for the majority of the match. It was just Andrade, which I found was a bit weird. We had a sling blade into just a standard 450 again. There was no 054. Has he dropped that move or something? I don't know. But we're not seeing him hit the 054 in a while. So it was a sling blade and a standard 450 for the win on Andrade. As they were celebrating, Randy Orton RKO's Finn Balor, but then gets a super kick from Ali, and Ali and Balor stand tall. Ali obviously helped Balor up after the attack.
Have we had a heel Finn Balor yet?
Not in WWE. He was a great heel. I want him to turn heel. When he was in the IC title match, Triple Threat last year at WrestleMania, I thought the club were going to come out and take out Rollins, and he was going to turn heel along with them and win the IC title then, but it never come to fruition. So yeah, the faces stand tall. Next we had the KO show, and Woods was the guest, but I liked how now he's a heel. The whole setup was a lot more dark and simplified. There was no bright colours or anything like that. It was just plain thing. I thought that was nice little attention to detail there. Woods doesn't come out, so basically all he does is he gets out one of the WWE toys, nice plug there, puts it on a chair, starts cutting a promo to one of Woods' toys, then brings out another toy, which is Big E's toy, cuts out a promo basically dissing the pair of them, and then kicks the chair that they're on. Next thing we know, he turns around and Kofi Kingston is standing there at the top of the ramp taking his shirt off, basically saying, "I'm gonna get ya." They get into a nice little scrapping brawl. They go over the announce table. Owens takes a shot at Kofi's eye, which allows Owens enough time to run into the crowd and go up the stairs. Kofi then gets back in the ring, stands up on the apron, stands up on the turnbuckle, chanting, and stands tall. That was the end of SmackDown. I thought this was quite a poor SmackDown, actually.
Really?
It wasn't great. It was alright, but it wasn't great. But I think that was the overall thing. However, that being said, I think SmackDown just beats Raw.
Yeah, I think the writers are just getting lazy now.
Well, apparently they've hired a new writing team.
Why aren't we there?
Yeah, we should be there. I've got great stories.
I'd make WWE so good.
So yeah, I will say mid 3 stars. This SmackDown, only just overtaking Raw. Match of the night, I will say, is Lynch versus Bayley, but match of the week, I will still give to the Raw match of Usos versus Club. And again, it's slim pickings.
So since Mania, is it 4-0? 4-0 SmackDown.
I've been keeping a tally of SmackDown versus Raw since the start of 2019, just personally. Raw have only beat SmackDown twice the whole year. One was the Ric Flair birthday segment. Again, this is my personal opinion. One was the Ric Flair birthday segment week,
Batista.
and then the other one was the Go Home WrestleMania show. I think they're the only two that have, only two Raws that have won. Every other week, I think it's been SmackDown. There's been some close calls, like this week, but no, SmackDown for me. And you know why I think it is 2 hours. But the downside of that is Fox apparently want to turn it 3 hours. It's too much. We struggle to watch 5 hours as it is. I mean, there are times I have to watch these shows just in in-depth highlight packages because I physically don't have the time to watch 5 hours of wrestling. It's too much. Yeah, that was the show really. Again, it was a bit of a lackluster week. It was what it was. I think it was. There were some parts that were a good setup to Money in the Bank. I am more hyped for Money in the Bank, so I suppose it's done its job in that aspect.
The men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Rollins, Styles, and Kofi, Owens.
I think the women to be pretty good as well. Excuse me. But yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention the segment where Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville were talking about being the last members of the. I know what we didn't talk about.
What?
We skipped over it. Whoops. Kairi Sane and Asuka coming out with Paige.
Oh, those two local talents.
With the Iconics on commentary, and the local talents got hardly any offense in. Asuka hit her reverse DDT, basically a scorpion death drop, and we got an insane elbow for the win.
That's it.
That was it. And then it was after this segment where you cut backstage. By the way, the match literally lasted a matter of minutes.
They're already thinking about breaking them up, aren't they?
Yes.
Like they're going to put the titles on them, but then they're like thinking about how Asuka Sane could go forward.
Asuka heel turn, I think.
Yeah.
I don't like this pirate princess gimmick. I don't like the pirate thing. I think it's stupid. It's childish. I don't like it at all.
So is the New Day's pancake thing.
Yeah, but they get over with their witty banter. I did just say witty banter. But they get over with you know, their comedy and their wrestling. Yes, she's a great wrestler, but what else has she got going for her? Nothing. So, yeah.
Concludes it, I'd say.
That concludes it. One other little note. Now, I know when we first started this channel, we said we were going to be doing a few other things, like if it were up to me, things like that.
They are still in the pipeline.
They're still in the pipeline. However, we've had to put so much on hold at the moment. Like we said in the last video,
time.
It's a big constraint at the moment. Like I say, I've not been well last week either. Ben's not been well either as well.
Shawn's been working a lot.
Sean's been working a lot. There's a lot of things we've had to put on the back burner for now, guys. I'm still in the process of doing like intro videos and things like that, and sorting out thumbnails. But I'm also in the process of possibly starting a new job soon, so I'm having to try and accommodate time for that, and that is a priority at the moment.
Yes.
So again, I know we keep saying this a lot, but please bear with us. We are also sorry that this come out late. That was my fault. Again, I was not well. So we were supposed to do this yesterday. Now, if you guys watch this, hopefully, please put in the comments whether you prefer us doing this, because this one's quite long, so we're not sure how we're going to do this. Please put in the comments whether you think we should put them into one match or still split Raw and SmackDown. We would like to know.
It's still undecided as of yet.
Yeah, we don't know whether to do a series of basically SmackDown versus Raw, like we did last week. That was sort of a tester. Or split them up like we did the previous week, where we did one of Raw, one of SmackDown. We filmed them at the same time, but we split them up. So, again, let us know your opinions, pretty please. But that's all we've got for you today. So, I've been Paul.
I've been Shawn.
You've been watching Alpha Wrestling Reviews. Take care, stay safe, like and subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye.